All right, you are now live.
Thank you. We have the time at 7 p.m. We're going to call this public meeting to order. Will you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
liberty,
and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Easton, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Mr. Raymert?
Here.
Mrs. Reed? Mr. Stubbs?
Here.
We do have a quorum. This is a special meeting of the German Township Board of Trustees. The purpose of the meeting is in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181 to hold a second public hearing concerning the proposed resolution 2021-19, a resolution to levy an annual license tax upon the operation of motor vehicles on the public roads and highways in the unincorporated territory of the township for any authorized purpose. The proposed tax shall be at a rate of $5 per motor vehicle on all motor vehicles, the district of registration of which is located in the unincorporated area of the township. ORC 4504.181 defines authorized purpose to include, among other things, paying for construction, reconstruction, improvement, maintenance, and repair of township roads, bridges, and culverts. If approved by the trustees at this meeting, Resolution 2021-19 shall be effective 30 days thereafter.
Thank you, Mr. Heaston. I'm going to make a motion to remove Resolution 2021-19 from the table.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Resolution 2021-19 has been removed from the table.
Thank you. With that, I'm going to read Resolution 2021-19. It's a resolution to levy an annual $5 license tax upon the operation of motor vehicles on the public roads and highways in the unincorporated territory of the township for any authorized purpose under the authority of the Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181. The German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, resolution levying a tax on the motor vehicle license pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181, whereas additional revenue is needed to meet expenses of project as outlined in Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181, and whereas a $5 tax per licensed motor vehicle levied upon the operation of motor vehicles on the public roads and streets on all motor vehicles in the district of registration of German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, is an appropriate means of raising needed revenue. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, that Section 1, an annual levy of $5 per licensed motor vehicle upon the operation of motor vehicles on the public roads and streets of all motor vehicles in the district of regulation of which is in and or over German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio, is herein enacted pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181. The intent of this section is to levy the tax a township is allowed to annually levy under Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181. Section 2, all revenues realized by the Township of German, Montgomery County, Ohio, pursuant to the resolution be only for the purposes allowed under Ohio Revised Code Section 4504.181. Section 3, the appropriate state, county, and local officials are herein authorized and required to enforce this resolution. Section 4, the annual tax levy herein enacted shall be effective and begin on January 1st, 2022. The Township Fiscal Officer is authorized and shall certify a copy of this resolution to the Registrar of Motor Vehicles. In Section 5, this resolution shall become effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law. So that is the resolution that we are here to discuss tonight, as Mr. Heaston mentioned. You know, I'm going to read what we have to do, what's required of the township to potentially put this levy in place. So prior to the adoption of any resolution, this is from the Ohio Revised Code. Prior to the adoption of any resolution under this section, the Board of Township Trustees shall conduct 2 public hearings on the resolution. The second hearing to be not less than 3, but not more than 10 days after the first public hearing. The board shall provide notice of the date, time, and place of both hearings by publication in the newspaper of general circulation in the township, or as provided in section 7.16 of the Ohio Revised Code, once a week on the same day of the week for 2 consecutive weeks. The second publication shall not be less than 10, but not more than 30 days prior to the first hearing. No resolution adopted under this section shall become effective sooner than 30 days after its adoption. A resolution under this section is subject to a referendum in the same manner as except as to the form of the petition as provided in Division H of Section 519.12 of the Ohio Revised Code or proposed amendment to the Township zoning resolution. In addition, a petition under this section shall be governed by the rules specified in Section 3501.38 of the Revised Code. No resolution levying a tax under this section for which a referendum vote has been requested shall go into effect unless approved by a majority of those voting upon it. And finally, a township license tax levy under this section continues in effect until repealed. Just so you're aware, that was the Ohio Revised Code requirements. We did publish notice for public hearings on 422 and 429 editions of the Germantown Press. We also held the first public hearing on 5/10 of 2021. We are now getting ready to hold a second public hearing today on May 18th. During this public hearing, we're going to ask that anyone wishes to provide comment on this topic or this resolution, state their name and address, and they will have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. So that's the modus operandi we're going to follow here just shortly. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to make a motion to open a public hearing.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing is now open.
At this time, I want to ask Mr. Holbrook, our road superintendent, to make a presentation. It's going to be very similar or the exact same that he presented last week on 5/10. And after that, we will follow with opening it up to the public for any comments. Mr. Holbrook, can you present with the information for tonight?
I would be pleased to. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. In 2019, the Ohio legislature passed House Bill 62, which included the addition of Section 4504.181 to the permissive motor vehicle license tax. This addition to this section gave the Ohio townships the authority to levy an additional $5 per vehicle registration fee within the unincorporated portion of the township. The Ohio Department of Public Safety estimates that this tax will generate an additional $21,000 to $25,000 yearly for German Township. If passed, this money could only be used for the planning, construction, improvement, maintaining, and repairing of public roads, highways, streets, and for the maintenance and repair of bridges and viaducts. Currently, there are 5 sections enacted under the permissive motor vehicle license tax, the total tax currently being $25 per vehicle registration. That $25 is split between Montgomery County, with Montgomery County receiving $23.50 per vehicle and German Township receiving $6.50 per vehicle currently. As the board is aware, the German Township Road and Service Department is grossly underfunded, and between November of 2016 and November of 2018, the Board of Trustees placed an additional $2 million road levy on the ballot 4 separate times. All 4 times it was voted down and failed. The road department is desperately in need of this additional funding to continue maintaining the township roadways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holbrook. At this time, we're going to open it up for public comments. If you will please state your name and address if you would like to speak. Haley, we make sure that all lines are off mute, please.
There has been a request sent to anyone that would like to speak to unmute. If you would not wish to speak, just remain on mute.
I'll go ahead. Mark Cross, 7444 South Stivers Road, Germantown, Ohio. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, I don't have internet access tonight, so we're doing this over the telephone, so I don't know who's actually present. So I'm going to go restate my statement from last, the 10th. I'm here today to address the German Township trustees concerning the $5 permissive motor vehicle license tax proposal. Let me first state that I am in favor of the proposed increase that will directly benefit the German Township Road Department for the following reasons. First, some facts. The road department maintains 37.6 miles of roads in the township. To put this in perspective, if you drive from the township offices to IKEA via I-75, then drive 9 more miles on I-75, you will have driven 37.6 miles. Our road department consists of only 2 employees. I have not been associated with 2 more dedicated individuals. There are no other road department employees, full or part-time. I have seen these men regularly mowing our roads, replacing culverts, removing down limbs, and in the heat of the summer, sealing cracks in the roadways and spreading hot asphalt along our roadways. In the winter, their snow removal and road salting is always thorough and timely, keeping us safe. And this is in addition to maintaining their own equipment and the vehicles of our police department while also maintaining our township buildings. However, all these duties and maintaining our roads requires proper funding. Some residents are asking, didn't you just pass a road levy? To clarify, the levy passed in November 2019 was an existing replacement levy with the City of Germantown. This was not a new levy just to fund the German Township Road Department. In fact, a new 2 mil levy that would have funded just German Township roads was voted down 4 times. Maintaining our roads is expensive. We would all love newly paved roads, but at this time, paving roads is cost prohibitive. Paving is close to $100,000 per mile. Chip seal is even expensive at $21,000 per mile. The township is planning on chip sealing 4.6 miles of roads in 2021 at a cost of $81,928. So how does the township raise funds for the road department to maintain our roads? After the 5.5 mil bond levy and the 0.5% increase of the income tax for the schools, the failure of a dedicated road levy for German Township is almost guaranteed. Raising the license tax by $5 per year seems to be the most equitable way to raise funds for the road department. If you live in German Township and own a vehicle and drive on township roads, you pay an additional $5 per year. That $5 goes right back to German Township and must by law go for road maintenance. That $5 is a direct investment for all of us. It is not going to some unnamed government project. As an aside, since I own a hybrid vehicle, I pay an extra $100 per year for registration, so I consider $5 a bargain. The $5 increase is estimated by the BMV to raise about $21,000 per year. Again, that is about the cost to chip seal 1 mile of township roads. We all know the damage poor roads can do to our vehicles. Properly maintaining our roads, even with limited funding, is always the goal of our road department. In conclusion, if the public supports this action by the trustees, you are supporting Jeremy Holbrook and Scott Hamilton, our road department staff, and are directly benefiting yourself, our township roads, and are taking pride in our township. I hope the trustees will support this action, and in the future will try to funnel available general fund money to our underfunded road department. Thank you.
Mr. Cross, is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight?
I would.
I would, please.
Abigail,
Oh, go ahead, Abigail. I'll wait.
It's Abigail Dennis, 13091 Oxford Road.
You, go ahead, Abby.
It's Abigail, please.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Abigail.
The only thing I wanted to say was I do think our roads need a lot of work and we definitely are underfunded for them. I really don't prefer the $5 to be added because I feel like we are taxed enough on our vehicles at the state level, the county level. And I also don't feel like the money that's going to be generated in is going to do enough. But if I'm correct with what Dr. Cross is saying, 1 mile of chip seal. And I think personally, there was money that came in for the workers' comp premiums that were refunded that could have went to the road department, and I'm not sure why they didn't. I think the general fund has enough that it could go over there. That's just my personal opinion. I don't and do all the numbers, but I am against it. I think there could be other money in the general fund we could use. And the problem with putting levies in for the roads are a lot of people are still really sour about the water district when we trusted our trustees there. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Is there anyone else?
Yes, please. Mark Keener, 7865 Jamaica Road. I'd like to once again speak in favor of the additional $5. Quite frankly, it's not much. Nobody's really going to notice the extra $5 on their annual registration. I think the average household within the township is going to see $10, $15. I'll see $15 at our place. So, you know, $15, $20 is what most people are gonna see. Ms. Dennis is correct in that it is pretty much a drop in the bucket, but quite frankly, this could make the difference between finishing the chip seal on somebody's neighborhood, or in the case of a bad winter, to make or break whether or not can afford enough salt to make it through the winter. You know, we've been fortunate the last few years that winters have been mild, but this is something that the road department can definitely use. I know firsthand from working with them for 5 years that they put their money to good use. I also know firsthand from working with the general fund for 5 years that there's not much money available on an annual basis that can go back to the road department. The other thing, I would encourage the trustees to go ahead and vote for this. As I was reviewing the YouTube video from the meeting on April, the regular April meeting when this was being discussed and when the plans for these public hearings were taking place. And one thing that was mentioned was the fact that in the case of a road levy actually passing, that this could be repealed with resolution, which would be a pretty simple process. So I would encourage to think about that we could go ahead and put something in that would be a temporary stopgap measure until such time that a fully funding road levy could be passed. And, you know, Mr. Rimmer, given your history with the school levy and your success in getting the information out to the public and turning around basically a 7-year cycle of levy failure, you know, you might be just the person to push an actual levy over the top and get it passed this time. So I would once again encourage the trustees to vote in favor of the small amount that would be coming out of township residents' pockets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keener. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Okay. Appreciate those that are willing to comment and attend. That is important for us. At this time, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are closed.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask a couple questions if Mr. Holbrook or Mr. Heaston can help me out. I know that there was a bit of a timeline on this. Can you guys remind me of when this would need to be approved in order to be submitted or make it in time for the 22 tax to be in force?
There is a 30-day waiting period after the approval that the citizens could put a petition to have this issue put on the ballot as a referendum. Meanwhile, there was a deadline of July the 1st to submit this to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles in Columbus for the tax to be added starting in 2022. Earlier today, and Mr. Stubbs, I'll let you address it, but he did talk to Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nathaniel Peterson about the deadline. So I will let you, Mr. Stubbs, go take it from here.
All right, thank you. I called the prosecutor's office today and talked to Nathaniel Peterson due to the fact that Mrs. Reddick Reed could not be here tonight. And I felt that it was in the best interest of the township if all three of us were able to be here for a vote for a levy like this. When I gave him the information, he said that the public hearings, which we did, are fine, and that we can vote on this at a later meeting, including our June regularly scheduled trustee meeting. So we wouldn't have to schedule another one, just to announce it tonight that we were going to do that, and then make that, when Mr. Easton posts the notice for our next meeting, to send that out as well. So he said that there's no issue, just make sure we go above and beyond to let everyone know what's going on. And I think that's in the best interest to have a full board here to vote how they please.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the conversation I had with the prosecutor's office.
Okay, that's clear. I guess, let me make sure I understand, Mr. Houston, correct me if I'm wrong. So even if we waited till June, regular scheduled trustee meeting, and we had all three of us in attendance to vote on that, we would then be able to decide whether we pass or fail it. If we did pass it, we could have time to meet the July 1st deadline, and obviously this wouldn't go into effect until 2022, so the 30-day waiting period wouldn't be an issue either.
That is what Mr. Stubbs learned from Mr. Peterson, as I understand it, that even
Yeah.
if we vote on June, June 14th, it would still be, we could still send it to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles in time for July 1st, even while the 30 days is running.
So I guess at this time, what I would say is I have no problem with that. I would move to table resolution 2021-19 with a motion to table that.
I will second.
And the idea of doing that is we will then plan to have a vote on June 14th. Okay.
Yes, correct. We will vote at the regular scheduled meeting.
Any discussion of the motion to table resolution 2021-19 pending a vote on June the 14th?
I would just say, I appreciate again everyone's attendance tonight and at the meeting on 5/10 and the comments and contributions they made. Just reminding everyone that June 14th we will have a vote on that. At that time, I guess there'll be no additional comments, but we will make sure we have a discussion and vote at that time. So June 14th it will be.
Before we vote on that motion to table, Mr. Raymond, I know that we will not hold a public hearing on June 14th, but I would assume you would allow public comments during the public comment section of the normal meeting, even on this subject.
That is correct. They will have the normal 5 minutes if they would like to speak on this and opine on this topic. That is completely up to their volition.
Very good. All in favor of tabling resolution 2021-19?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Very good, thank you.
And I will also make a motion to close the public meeting tonight.
Before you
second.
close, Mr. Reamer, may I ask a question?
Yes.
This is Mark Keener again.
Sure,
So
go ahead.
in watching the video from the April meeting, there was some question on whether or not the vote had to be unanimous. Mr. Holbrook had spoken to a representative from, I believe, ODOT, who had indicated that it did have to be a unanimous vote in favor. However, when I was reading or listening to you read the ORC this evening, I gathered that it did not have to be a unanimous vote in favor to pass this. What's your understanding?
That is correct. Yeah, that's correct. Mr. Easton also confirmed that with the prosecutor's office that it does not have to be a unanimous vote.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate the clarification.
No problem. Sure. Any other questions or comments before we close? Okay. Motion to close, please.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:24. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.